The Nova Roma Imperium. The excitement of the first few years of war had begun to fade. The excitement of victory upon victory in the Mediterranean and the north coast of Africa, where the Imperium's navy would engage the British naval forces and sink them to the bottom of the sea. And when the Roman legionaries would march into battle and be victorious time and time again. Those days begin to fade in regards to reports from Africa, where British and French forces have invaded Tanganyika and have captured it from the Italians. This demonstrates to the people of Italy, in reports and newspapers and mutterings in the street, that perhaps the Imperium is not as invincible as they have led us to believe, that perhaps their strength is but a fig leaf upon some Romanesque statue in some museum somewhere. Perhaps they are weaker than they have led on to believe, and anti-war sentiment begins to grow. The Imperium, sensitive to this, has decided that they must not be as aggressive in battle as they have thus far held. They are but a small player in this great war. Their industrial output is minimal, even relative to some of their weaker enemies. They are a small player in this great game. And so with that in mind, they decide that they have to secure their holdings that they have thus far captured, secure them, and hope that they can hold them in light of the new threat of the rebuilding of the British Navy and the new threat rising in the West in the form of the Americans. They have to hold and secure key territory and not lose their gains that they have achieved thus far. Welcome all to Operation Valkyrie. My name is Jinx, and we are playing as the Imperium, the Italians. Let's give a good cruise over to see what everybody's up to in the world. The German forces have been building up along the Soviet border. In Warsaw, in Bessarabia, and up north in Finland, forces grow, and perhaps they'll be able to launch an impressive attack against the Soviets. We see that the Germans have also captured Istanbul, and it is now weakly held by a single artillery unit, but it is interesting to see the moves that they are going to be placing thus far, that perhaps the Soviets will be threatened not only from the west over here, but from the south, coming from this direction, from the north in the case of Finland, and perhaps all these territories here in the west. Moving on to the Soviets, they're building up forces in Kiev, in Smolensk, and in Leningrad, sizable forces and bastions of strength that perhaps they can hold back the invasion of the Germans in this theater. They have pulled back their forces from the far east into Chita and now hold on to that territory, and also over here in the Transcaucasus they've pulled up some forces there as well. The Japanese have managed to eliminate the KMT forces on the map, and now the KMT is no more. But the Japanese don't have sufficient forces to hold back the CCP easily either, and the CCP has taken advantage of it and captured Suyan from the Japanese. Perhaps the tide will turn and the Japanese will make inroads against the CCP, but we'll have to see how that pans out, because they are a formidable force and they have the mountains at their back to hold on to. The KMT, I suppose, do hold some territories here in the backwoods area, Tibet and Xinjiang, but it might not be held for long if the CCP have anything to say about it. The Japanese have some more forces here in Manchukuo, and I believe I'm missing some presence of some troops in western Manchuria, but I'm not entirely sure what that situation is at this moment. I forgot to load that one up. The British Commonwealth continues to build up forces in the FEC area here in India and in Burma, gathering forces and perhaps an anticipated push eastwards towards Japanese territory. The Anzac are building up their fleet, building up a heavy carrier. They have now 2 fighters present here and a heavy cruiser rather, and that's a decent sized fleet of their own in their own right. The British, as we've mentioned, have built up forces here in Africa, with colonial forces, and now push them northwards towards Tanganyika to threaten the Italian holdings here. In Madagascar, we see that the Americans continue to lend these forces here to Madagascar, and this transport is proving a bit of a menace by dropping off troops in Tanganyika, now threatening also our entire coastline of our holdings here. It's not an easy task for us to overcome. We see the British are still struggling to battle against the convoy raiding, although now they have anti-submarine warfare, so things should be a little bit easier against the threat of the German submarines. I believe there's 4 German submarines in the water and 2 Italians convoying them for something like 11 IPC per turn last turn. So quite a bit of resources going down the drain for the British forces, which does match the income to some extent. If they pull in $22, they now have only $12 to spend per turn. So not loads of resources, and the Italians exceed the British, but if you count in the FEC and the Anzac, well, they're a little bit weak relative to them. And the Americans continue to grow, sending Lend-Lease units to the British and to the French each and every turn. And that is about it for a quick summary of the situation. Let's dive into the Imperium's turn, starting with a technology roll, which is going to be over here. We're going to pursue our improved construction here. We need a 7 or less to succeed. Here we go. Let's see what that one is. It's unfortunate this one is a white dice. And we got a 9. We almost had 11 there, but we got a 9. And now we have improved construction. So that is excellent. We are the third person to hit tier 4. That's pretty good. The British and the Germans have exceeded us on some of the other ones, so that's pretty grand. But we're not building any ships this turn. We don't have the resources for it. But we'll save that for another day. So that's pretty good. Let's go on to our purchases. So we have 22 bucks to spend right there. So we're going to zero that out. 22. So we're going to buy ourselves 2 Marines. That's 8 bucks. We're going to buy ourselves 4 infantry. So that is 12 bucks. So that brings us to 20 and 22 with Italian militia. And that is it for ourselves. Yeah, that's basically it. Let's move on to our combat moves. We're not going to combat anything here in Africa. We're going to leave that as is. We are going to do some combat, only 2 combats, I suppose. This seaplane is going to come out here into Sea Zone A44, and we're going to make an attempt against Gibraltar, which I'm not... Oh, sorry, there's 3 combats. This Italian destroyer from M9 coming up to engage this British destroyer here. I believe it's still there. I'm actually not sure where it is. So this might not be the case. I just watched the unit summary video for the British, and I'm not sure if they moved it, but if they didn't move this one, it used to be a Turkish sub, but let's see if it's still there. If it's still there, we're going to hit it, and if not, we're going to engage it if we can find it in the Mediterranean, if it exists anywhere out here with this force. So let's just say that's what's going on. And who are we going to send in charge of that? Well, it'll be Prince Aimon, who's going to engage that Turkish destroyer there. As for the rest of it, we're going to send a naval task force to engage the British here in Gibraltar. So that's going to be 2 battleships, 2 heavy cruisers, a destroyer, a transport's going to carry these 2 infantry, and a transport from Cyprus is going to use the major port here that the Syrians provide us, or the Germans in Syria provide us, and we're going to go all the way here. And we're also going to grab with these 2 naval transports, they're going to grab our 3 Marines and 1 infantry. And we hope this is going to be enough to make a landing against Gibraltar without taking astounding casualties. And also our aircraft are going to land in that fight as well. So that is all our attacks. So let's start off with, I've got the battle board kind of set up for all this stuff, to some extent anyways. So let's copy this and come down here to the battle board and see what those results are. By my math, we should just barely be able to win this one. Just barely. With some casualties. So that's my math, of course. My math is not 100%, but we'll take a good few casualties, but ultimately it will be our survivability of all our cannon fodder that will allow us to win. Hopefully, anyways. So let's see what those results are. First, we get some first strikes. So quite a few, actually. We have the fortification here, going 2 first strike rolls, and this coastal artillery. Now, I need to quickly read up on the coastal artillery. I forgot one thing, and as I was mentioning it here, I need to quickly... coastal artillery. First strike roll per attacking shore bombarding ship. Okay, I just need to check if they have target selection. Per attacking shore bomber ship. Yeah, maximum 3 shots. Okay, so I have 2 heavy cruisers going in and a battleship. And so therefore it will spare my subs. Alright, so let's roll for, I don't even know if it's first strike. It probably isn't first strike. Let's review that here. It is a first strike defense roll per attacking ship. So here's an interesting thought. I believe shore bombarding is a first strike as well. But I'm not 100% certain on that. That's just technology. Okay, I have to go to this side of the map. I need to review one thing. Sorry about this, guys. I just need to review first strike and how that feature is. Or shore bombardment. I need to know if shore bombarding is first strike or not. I'm pretty sure it is. But if it is, then everything is first strike. Alright. First round. Did I miss it? Shore bombarding. Yeah, due to first strike, casualties from both shore bombardment and coastal artillery. So it does imply, if my reading is correct, due to first strike, casualties from both shore bombardment and coastal artillery are removed immediately. So I don't think coastal artillery get to first strike my first strikers, if you get what I mean. So let's roll this out. So first of all, we have our battleship rolling at, normally it'd be rolling at 4, but because it's attacking coastal artillery, it's at 3, and my heavy cruisers at 1. So the coastal artillery reduces that, reduces our shore bombarding capability. So a 3 and 2 1s. You know what? We got 1 hit. That's pretty good. That's really kind of, I didn't expect any more than that. Okay, and then we have the coastal artillery gets to fire 3 dice here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we'll hold off on the fortress just yet. We'll see what these results are. 3 dice at 3 or less. Oh, pretty low numbers. I better double check, but I think it's 3 or less. Yeah, at 3. You almost had 3 full hits there, so 1 hit, and we'll take it on our battleship. Alright, and then we have the fortification at first strikes here, and that's against the land forces landing, so youch. That's going to be at 5 or less, so 1 hit there. Youch. Alright, okay, so that is the first strike, so we need to take off a marine here. So marine is gone. You know what, I'm going to keep it cloned. 1 marine gone. And is that it? I think that's it. We've accounted for everything. We need to damage our battleship, but we also need to take off 1 of their infantry. Alright, where's their infantry? Did we delete it? We must have deleted it. Alright, whatever. We keep that in mind. Alright, moving on to the first round of combat. So we have our air units here. And we have our remaining infantry type units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. Okay, and all these are our infantry and our aircraft forces. Okay, rolling. Really bad rolls. We only have 1 hit on round 1, and that's this 5. Everything else has missed quite decisively. So way poorer than average, and our enemies are going to respond with 3 dice here. Hopefully they have the same amount of luck as we do, or at least only 2 hits. That would be ideal. They have 1 hit, so 1 hit, and we take off a marine, and they take off 1 of their infantries. Okay, now we go into, I think we'll survive this. They only have 2 units left over. We did their fortification. We did their units there. Yep, I think we're ready to go. So by my math, we only have 6 left. That's too many dice. I hope I didn't roll too many dice on the first round. Okay, here's our round 2. I'm going to just go with what it says here. So 4, 2, 2. So that means, I know this is somewhat cocked, but it does say in this little marker here that it is 4, and if I put it at the right angle, it's either that or re-roll it. My thinking is because the dice says on here, this little indicator, this digital marker, that it's a 4, I'll stick with the 4 as opposed to re-rolling it. Unless you guys think otherwise, but that's generally what I've been doing so far. 4. Okay, so 3 hits. Wipes them out, and on their side of things, they have 2 dice left. I guess I only need 2 hits anyways. 2 dice left. 1 more hit against me. Alright, so we're going to take off an infantry. So really not as bad as I thought it would be. Not as bad at all. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys left over, and they do have their seaplane here, but their seaplane doesn't roll any hits. So I think it's just simply wiped out. And I believe that's it for the battle. So we take off, what do we say, 3 hits? Yeah, we take off 3 hits of our own. Whew, I was really worried about that one. And I hope everything went well there. Oh, and we damaged our battleship. Because I honestly think I might have, I don't know. My opponents will take a look at it and double check, but I have a vague feeling I must have missed something. But because I thought that would be way worse, but I think it was all legal. And there we have it. We've captured ourselves Gibraltar. And I'm pretty sure that seaplane also stays, gets just simply wiped off the map, since it has no targets. And this fortified line is gone as well. Okay, so we land our forces here. Oh, we captured Gibraltar. That's awesome. All right. So our aircraft 1, 2, 3, 4 land back here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's the only place they can land. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. And so we go on to our other stuff. Here we have a seaplane. We're the red the attacker, blue the defender. 5 and 4. So we miss out on our seaplane, and our seaplane is going to land back over here in Sicily. Now, when it comes to our submarines, we're not attacking. We're just going to move them. 1, 2, 3 to this position here. I don't think we can raid anything there anyways. Yeah, so we're just going to come here. Yeah, that's where we'll go. All right, that is basically it for our sub fleet. The rest of our stuff up here. We're going to non-combat 2 infantry across to Sicily. There. Oh, and we forgot this battle over here. So we have 3 destroyers and 1 torpedo boat destroyer against their destroyer. So that'll be a few dice. Okay, so we're looking at destroyer. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and a torpedo boat destroyer rolls at 2. So this is for the attacking force. Two hits, excellent. And on the defending side, 1 hit as well. Well done, them. All right, so we're going to take off our torpedo boat destroyer, and we'll take off their Turkish destroyer as well. And that's that. So we have, in my mind anyways, I think we've regained the Mediterranean. Yeah, we've regained the entirety of the Mediterranean. We've captured Gibraltar. And now let's take a look at our non-combat moves over here. So we're going to move our cavalry 2 spaces to Abyssinia. We're going to move our motorized 1 space here to Abyssinia. We're going to... Pretty deadly. We're going to move our anti-aircraft gun here to Italian Somaliland. We're going to move our infantry from Nubia to Abyssinia. We're going to rail an anti-aircraft gun to Nubia. And we're going to walk this guy from Upper Egypt 1 space down. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. I can't see anything else that needs to be done. I don't have that many units on the board. So let's go put some units at the table here. So we're going to put 1 infantry in Lower Egypt. Yeah, 1 infantry Lower Egypt. Then we're going to place a militia. I think we'll place a militia. Shoot, I don't really know. We're gonna put. We put 1 infantry there already. Okay, and that maxes out our factories here. Yeah. I don't think improved construction allows us to build any more units in these territories. So I'm gonna just go there. And that leaves us with 1 militia to place. Can't put it in Italian Somaliland, but we could put it in Abyssinia. Yeah. Discretion is a better part of valor. We better put it there. I think it'd be best case scenario. Alright. that is it for our movements here in the Mediterranean, and I will give a summary to my opponents in a private video. So our income has gone up by $2, so we are now sitting, let's see here, we are at 18, we should be at 24. Let's just zero that out. There. $24. We have 18, 19, 20 for the Med, 21, 22 for Cairo, and 23, 24 for this lovely place in Gibraltar. And that is it for us. Okay, guys, thanks all for watching. I'm hoping you enjoy the Imperium's turn. Cheers!